It looks like the Toronto Raptors have found the steal of the offseason. As word has come out, the team has signed Javon Freeman-Liberty to a two-way contract that looks like it could pay off significantly for the Toronto Raptors down the road. As Liberty Freeman is a guy that can come out, knock down threes. He's very athletic, 6'4", can play the point guard or two-guard position, and for a two-way slot, so a very low-risk move, potentially could give us a high reward. So we'll break down who this guy is, what impact he can have on the team this season or in the future, and what it means for our roster flexibility going forward for the rest of the offseason. So lots of stuff to break down. Without further ado, let's jump straight into it. It's basically Adrian Wojnarowski came out with a little Woj bomb for the Toronto Raptors, basically indicating the Raptors have signed Javon Freeman-Liberty to a two-way contract with the team. And, he averaged 21 points per game for the Chicago Bulls in this year's Summer League, but overall has just had a very encouraging NBA career, and looks like he could have an impact on the Toronto Raptors with sort of the output he's been providing. Just looking at his intangibles, he's a guard that can play point guard or the two-guard position, only 23 years old, but 6'4", 185 pounds, and we saw him in Summer League play up against the Toronto Raptors, and he's a hound defensively, right? Knocks down threes and gets a little bit fired up. We saw him go back and forth with Marquise Noel in one of those Summer League games. So, he's ready to go. He's locked in and just brings a winning, aggressive attitude to a team that, can use it from their guard position. So, looking at his stats, this year's Summer League absolutely killed it for the Chicago Bulls. Wasn't on the Raptors Summer League team, but, last season he's played for the Chicago Bulls Summer League for 2 years in a row. Was on their G League affiliate squad for last season, but last year didn't put up insane numbers by any means, only 7 points per game, under 7 points per game, but this year stepped it up tremendously as he took a leap in his game, going up to 21 points per night, in the 5 games in Summer League, and it's a smaller sample size, but 46% from the three-point line. Yes, 46% on 5 attempts per game. It's just kind of ridiculous. That is an elite shooting stroke, at least in those 5 games there. But we saw it over a bigger sample size with this G League performance. We'll break those down. But 4 assists per game, played some solid defense along those lines, was efficient from the field, and can come out here and provide those numbers on the Summer League squads. Definitely outperformed a lot of the dudes that didn't end up getting full-time roster spots on the Toronto Raptors. So I'm happy we went in this direction, and apparently there were a lot of teams coveting, Javon out there in the open market, as news has come out basically that 3 teams have offered Chicago's own Javon Freeman-Liberty two-way deals, but he turned those down and ended up signing with the Toronto Raptors, and the Bulls did not make an offer. And it makes sense why the Chicago Bulls did not make an offer, even though he was with the team, even though he was with the organization for the past couple seasons. They have way too many guards. I mean, they just brought back Dosunmu, who the Raptors were sort of in the mix. That was the guard a lot of Toronto Raptors fans thought the team would land, but no, Dosunmu's brought back, Kobe White's brought back, Alex Caruso's still there on the roster, obviously Lonzo Ball's injured and stuff, but there's not a lot of, and obviously Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan. I know DeMar's playing more of a forward role with the Bulls, but they have a lot of guard depth there on Chicago. So, not a big role, not much potential for him to get some opportunity with the Bulls. So makes sense why they didn't bring him back, but it also makes sense why he is a player that was highly coveted in the sort of two-way space in the two-way market, because a guy that plays defense, is athletic, and can knock down threes. That's huge. That's huge for your team. And, he's a bit of a tweener, right? 6'4", which is not tall for a shooting guard, but your average shooting guard height. But plays the point and two-guard position. So, he's a little bit of that in-between game. But the Raptors don't have anything solidified off their bench now for their backup sort of guard positions. We don't know if Schroeder's going to be in the starting lineup or not. Gary's going to be starting. But then we're sort of relying on rookie Grady Dick, who rookies, sometimes they take a while to get their feet wet to find their footing. Right, Malachi Flynn, who hasn't really shown consistency at the NBA level just yet, right? Marquise Noel, who's on a two-way contract himself, right? There's some question marks about our current set of guard depth, but Jeff Dowtin Jr., who's a guy, we'll see what ends up happening with him in regards to the Toronto Raptors, but he's definitely not getting a two-way spot as this final two-way position was filled by Javon, but he can come in, the two-way spot. We saw the development. I mean, the jump from his Summer League performances from one year after the other. I mean, 6 points, obviously more minutes per night, but, 6 to 21 points per game is a significant jump, and he was really solid in the G League for the Chicago Bulls last season as well. Basically, last year's splits on 30 minutes per game in 17 games played. Shot 38% from the three-point line. Really strong free throw shooter. Right. 6 rebounds a game for a guard is pretty solid there. 3 assists per night, and then his points per game, 18 a night. It's pretty good. pretty good numbers there in the G League. Nothing lucrative, nothing absolutely insane, but definitely a guy that will be productive in the NBA space, in that limited role potential. Like, those players putting up that type of stats in the G League are guys that deserve a shot, deserve an opportunity in the NBA. And hopefully he's going to get that run, get that opportunity. And the upside for him, right, when comparison to, we talked about it was a little bit of a surprise the Raptors brought back Ron Harper Jr., even though I'm a fan of his game, his defense, knocked down threes, even if he's not super consistent in the limited run he had last year. But, the upside for Liberty Freeman is just, it's exciting, right? We're not sure what's going to happen. He can come in. Sure, it might flop. Rarely do we see guys in two-way positions really blossom into NBA stars, but it was sort of the Toronto Raptors thing. It was the Toronto Raptors mold to take these young, sort of overlooked prospects, guys that haven't really been given an opportunity, late-round draft picks, all this type of stuff, and turn them into legit NBA players. And we got away from that a little bit over the last couple seasons, right? The focus on development wasn't really there, and hopefully we just get back to that, right? We go back into the mold where, we take guys like Javon, Marquise Noels, our two-way contract players, Ron Harper Jr., right, in Darko Rajakovic system, right? All these guys could potentially get a little bit of run, have opportunities to flourish. So, when the guys, especially our bench players, when we need players to step up, season after season, we have that crop of players, which is the reason that Toronto Raptors won the NBA championship in 2019. I mean, if we didn't have Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, Norman Powell step up, these guys that were G League affiliates for us, right? We weren't winning that chip. We wouldn't have enough depth after dealing away DeMar DeRozan and Jakob Poeltl that season. So, definitely an interesting piece. The Raptors do need some shooting. The question marks still remain about, who will actually get opportunity at that backup spot. We let Delano Banton go. I imagine Jeff Doughton Jr. is going to be back. I feel like he's going to get that final roster spot. He's been working out with the team the entire summer, so I'd be shocked if he doesn't get at least a training camp invite. But, we've also heard some Nurbia guy that's in the Toronto Raptors mix and on the Toronto Raptors radar, as we broke down in the last video. So the guard position is something the Toronto Raptors are coveting. We've heard the reports, the news that Masai Ujiri is looking to sort of beef up that backup PG spot after Fred VanVleet has sort of been on his way out, and a guy that can come in, play strong defense, not like an insane facilitator, but athletic, shoots threes, 6'4", seems like a guy that fits what the Toronto Raptors are doing here at this point. So we'll see what ends up happening. Hopefully he can have an impact on this team. But let me know what you guys think about this signing. Do you think it was a steal for the Raptors? I think at a two-way spot, putting up that type of numbers in Summer League, all that sort of stuff, I think it was a good pickup for the Raptors here at this moment in time. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Also, the microphone, I've been fooling around with the settings. This mic is a lot better than the ones that I've had in the past, but I got to get the settings right. It's a different sort of plug-in. It's not USB. So bear with me as we improve this setup, continuously try out different things here on the Raptors Digest. But I apologize if this is also some subpar audio in this vid, but I'm hoping I have it figured out going into this one. But you guys are the best to make it this far. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. We're very close, very, very close to 29,000 subs, so mean the world if you hit that sub button. Anyways, I'm signing out. Cheers.